And next up, we've got a lively industry debate. This is going to include Khalifa Shamsi, the Chief Digital Service Officer of the Etisalat Group, and Tony Iad. And if both of you would come up here, we'll get this started. Tony, I'll let you lead off, if you would, please.
Thank you, Khalifa. Anyway, thank you for coming. Always a pleasure to have someone from Etisalat with us. Now we will go for just an update for Etisalat global footprint. Etisalat, as you may know all, 40 years of leadership, 40 years of innovation. They have footprint, global footprint in Egypt, Nigeria, 10 countries in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. Operating in 15 countries. Number of customers, 144 million. Number of employees, 42,000. Impressive number. We're really glad to have Etisalat with us today. Now, let's go to the question. In your view, what are the new industry trends and where the telecom sector is heading?
Well, if we go by the last two speakers that they started the session, I think we cover a lot of good focus areas of where a lot of the trends happen. I like always to focus on some of the key ones that in my 20 years plus years in this industry, I think the last 5 years has shown a lot of aggressive enhancement and changes happening. I think we all experience the evolving way for the way people communicate, the way people consume media, the way people collaborate, and the way people even seek for information and share information. And if we look, why did this happen and why did it accelerate in the 5 years? Some of this main reason of the trends is due to things that we did. And I think as a telecom operators, telecom vendor, we should be proud of some of the things that we have done to evolve the industry to where it is today. The one, which is the biggest one, I think, is the involvement of fast broadband and the mobility, combining the mobility with the fast broadband. And that's by itself fueled all the remaining trends in the industry. And again, we should be proud about it. Without that move, that risk, and that investment the telecom industries overall have done, we wouldn't see our world as it is looking today. Other trends that also it added to where we are today is the rich online content and information and the recent emerging of social network. This was not there during the days that we were there. And it's now, when we were younger generation, but now we're seeing this a lot more, and even the older generation contribute to the online presence and the online information, and due to these social media networks. The availability of smart devices, I will not say smartphones, because smart devices in the last maybe 4 years and or moving forward has boomed like there is no tomorrow. From smartphones to smart tablets to smart TVs to smart cars to smart any device that is available today. And mix that with a good operating system that's it's available to allow you to enrich with a lot of rich applications. In the old days, what differ a phone to another phone? And it was funny, we were saying, oh, this phone have this small game in the new device. Now, because of the openness of the operating system, in the sense that it's open for developer to contribute to it, that's had made major impact to the way that these trends are happening. Also, if we look at the cloud technology, whether for internal uses or for external uses, it's allowed for all of this technology to emerge faster, to have faster time to market, to be able to deploy services anywhere and anytime. And last but not least, and this is something we're seeing it more and more happening right now, which is the big data impact. And the big data, it's gone from analytics as we had it in the old days, so thoroughly reviewing your data. And I think building the networks, we have done a lot of analytics on looking at our networks, how is our customer uses our networks, how can we optimize network, how do we run network, how do we expand it. This was our limit to start with.
Okay.
It's gone into advanced analytics, and right now, big data is the thing that you can use it internally for your own internal organization or even to service other customer externally.
Okay. Now, with all this change we're talking about, how Etisalat, okay, tackles this change in the industry?
I mean, before we look at Etisalat, I think it's good to look at what is this change has impact our own customer itself. Because if you look at our customers, they looked at the change happening in the industries, and then they started behaving differently. So if you look at the user, right now, our users are hyper-connected. They always seek a very high speed, and they always want to be engaged. So this is one of the main trends, that these trends in the industry have resulted on the user. So if you are a telecom operator and look at such trends already emerging with your end users, don't you want to like to go and provide your customer with the best, most efficient, robust, and fast broadband services? If the customers these days or end user these days are more engaged, how do you benefit from that? The example that was given by Sheikh Mohammed is phenomenal. As if Sheikh Mohammed looked at the trends happening in the industry, and he said, well, people are penetration of smart devices at the level highest. Broadband available, and it's available everywhere. People like to be engaged on social network all the time. So guess what? For my information to seek inputs from my citizens and residents of the country, I want to engage with them. That's what he did to monetize on this trend. And I think it's better than any of us in the industry are leveraging on these trends that we are causing ourselves. So this is the trend impact on the end user. If you look at also impact on the end user, we're saying user right now trying to seek multi-devices. So from smartphones, smart tablets, different devices, and they try to consume media across devices. So going back to your question, fine. So what are you doing as telecom operator with this kind of a trend? So if you're providing in the old days an IPTV platform and it's fixed on consumption from one device, and now you're understanding that the trend is happening with multi-device consumption, don't limit your customer of access from only one device. And if you are doing a data service and a data consumption, don't limit it from one device. Provide him that access across multiple devices. So operators have to understand what are the emerging technology and what are emerging trends and behavior change, and look back and see how to monetize on this different type of activity. Also, users these days are very much concerned about their security and privacy. Yes, they are opening up to share information online. Yes, they would like to access from any devices, but also they have concern on devices, on data, on contacts. So this opens another opportunity for the operators to provide some sort of solution for end user to protect their data, to store their data, to access their data from multiple type of devices. So I think what we're missing here, we get so much focus on the day-to-day activity, we lose sight of the emerging technologies, not only from a 1 to 2 years window, but from more of a 3 to 5 years window. And to look at what's making sense. If those people like to be hyper-connected and like to be online, what is our strategy when it comes to e-care? What is our strategy when it comes to online sale? How is our targets of online sales grow year on year, taking in consideration the penetration of the country, taking in consideration the broadband connectivity? So this is some of the trends that's impacting end users, individuals. At the same matter, it's also impacting others.
Okay, it's a lot applied mobile health, for example. Yes. We're talking about the advanced technology now. Where we are now on the mobile health, it's how it go. It's become practical. It's used by the consumer, or just our consumers still consuming data on social media, on browsing. Because last study said the Middle East users, especially in Middle East, okay, they're using the data just for browsing whatever website, YouTube, or using social media. Okay, they're not educated to get all the benefit of the smartphone or the data package. So Etisalat launched mobile money, they launched mobile health, all this. Is the Etisalat users, maybe in UAE or anywhere, okay, start how we are doing to educate, okay, your user, okay, or inform them better to use this new application or services?
So the mobile health focus started on our African operation due to the need. And I'm very proud to say that's the biggest gain that we got out of our mobile baby launch is saving 70% of the lives of pregnant women and newborn baby in the country that we started the operation in Tanzania. And that's for us, it's the biggest return that we got out of such technology deployment. It is not the amount of data we sold to the end users. It's not the data packages and the smart devices that was done, but more and more on the lives. And this is some of the rewards that we would like to get back. And that's what strengthened our presence in this operation. Now, of course, we couldn't do it just by giving packages from the stores and customer. No, this has gone through a lot of on-ground operation and education between the midwives that they will be using the phone, to the clinics that they will have the back-end system, to education on the countries also to trust such new activities that is being done. So is the revenue generated from mobile data for this particular application has been massive? Absolutely not. This is part of the overall growth of the mobile data. But this is given an example also to the governments that we are operating in, the needs to adopt some new technologies. And going back to governments and going back to enterprises, they felt the change of these trends also. Governments today, they're trying to adopt the latest in technology. Yes, we live in a dream country over here that they adopt the latest in the world when it comes to mobility, when it comes to cloud solution. But again, to all of us here, what is our role in engaging with our governments, in engaging with our regulator, engaging with our different major enterprises in the country to talk to them about the impact that these new trends is happening? I mean, we heard all about smart cities, and there is a very strong initiatives, not only from an announcement perspective, work on the ground right now, heavily daily happening with the Dubai government on transforming the city of Dubai, even before the Expo announcement, from a regular city to smart city that it's always been, to a smarter city. Now, our role as telecom operator is start to look at the adjacent industries, looking at the transport industries, looking at the emergency services, looking at the municipal services, education sector, health sector. And for that, we like to draw the overall value chain and look at where we can add value, not just because we are operator, we're great, we'd like to get some additional revenue, but where can we add value? Connectivity is a given, but where are the other areas? Platform, exposing some assets that we have, from billing capabilities to information that we have in the network that will allow the cities to run easier and smoother transport. A lot of assets that is be available. So our role is really, as telecom operator, should not be sitting most of our times in our boardrooms or only with our internal teams. There is a lot of opportunities out there that if we don't go and approach it, it will come and go, and other player will come and capture that opportunity. So, for example, in Etisalat, we are part of the government of the UAE steering committees on looking after the smart government. We're part of the Dubai smart city steering that working. We're part of every single working group that looking after each of these industries, because we believe that we can make a major difference in this, and we can innovate by bringing some of the latest technology. We have capabilities in integration, we have capabilities in infrastructure, we have capabilities in insights that we can bring, and I think that should be the role of every operator.
So how do you look to the future, digital future of Etisalat?
So I'll go back to your question about the commerce. I mean, we looked at our African operation, and we've seen some of our African operation, they don't have a commerce solution, where some of the other competitors have a commerce solution. And in other markets, there is no commerce solution. And if you look at the African continent, only 1/3 of the countries are benefiting of sort of mobile health, mobile application, be it health or commerce. So the last year for us was a year to focus on launching more mobile commerce solution across our footprints. And I'm very glad to say that today we have 10 operations across all Etisalat footprint in Asia and Africa with a launched mobile commerce solution. A number of users has exceeded 10 million users. And that wouldn't happen by itself. It happened by very heavy engagement by us into the local environment, by the local, for example, financial regulators in each country, by the telecom regulator in each country, by working side by side with the banks in these countries in order to introduce some sort of services like this. So this is part of the focus. And part of Etisalat believe that we need to evolve into the new opportunity was the recent investment that the board of Etisalat and the CEO of group of Etisalat have done by establishing the unit at the group level, which is my unit, the digital services unit, in order to expedite the launch of services into this market. As Mr. Uthman was saying, when you are working operationally on one country with one company, your view goes only a quarter-to-quarter view. You cannot look beyond the year that you're operating in due to pressure on financial return. At the group level, we have the time and the vision to be able to look beyond the local operations activity, which they are best doing, to put investment. First investment, to put investment in people, to bring best of breeds from the region and from international to focus on the new opportunity when it comes to the digital arena. When we say digital arena, we're talking about B2B areas like machine-to-machine and cloud-based solution, and mass market services like commerce solution, like digital advertisement. How is the communication is evolving? Where is the impact on digital entertainment and video? This is a lot of the focus areas that we have. Other investment also Etisalat is doing on bringing best of platforms to the region. So Etisalat brought for the first time in the region, and it's based here in the UAE, a very robust, advanced machine-to-machine platform that can not only power the UAE own footprints, but it can also power regional operator by signing back-to-back agreement. This will allow the growth opportunities for this region of $2 billion by within 5 years on machine-to-machine to start happening. Because if we are not involved, it will not happen. If we don't have the capabilities, it will not happen. If we don't go and talk to the international multinational companies, it will not happen. I mean, take, for example, the automotive industry. This industry, they look at each region separately, and they decide on when to bring certain technology per each region based on the development of that this country from technology and infrastructure, but also from regulatory perspective. And if we don't engage with these manufacturers, the automotive manufacturer from now, side by side with our regulator, by our government entities, and convince them to bring this technology in advance to this region, it will not happen. And there will not be a revenue loss, but an opportunity loss that we will be suffering from. So we've been talking to a lot of other operators. We've been talking even to vendors like Ericsson and Huawei and Qualcomm about how do we collaborate in bringing this agenda. We're talking with the regulator of the UAE and other operator of the region. How do we bring something like the e-call initiative of Europe to the GCC? GCC have highest death rate on the roads comparing to Europe. And we are in need to emergency services embedded in cars, but we're not talking about it. And car manufacturer will not bring it to the UAE alone. They look at the region, at GCC as a whole. So I think while the opportunities is phenomenal, but the work on us today is huge. And as Etisalat, we started in the investments in people and in infrastructure in order to speed up the impact of this one to our region.
Thank you. It's a great vision from Etisalat. We hope we'll use this service soon. We'll take questions from the audience, please.
This is Naji Abu Habib from MT2. My question to Mr. Khalifa. It's a good strategy of opening and being, positive to any innovation and attractive to third parties. But don't you think that Etisalat needs to be a bit more light in terms of administration, in terms of bureaucracy, and decision-making process. Because we all know that Etisalat is more rigid if we compare to other operators when it comes to partnering with third parties. Thank you.
Wow.
I mean, we're always open to discuss and share thoughts about the views of any third party. Question is, because the question was very general, do we believe that we are there according to where we want to be in terms of the ambition that we are? No. Do we think we need to improve and evolve than where we are today? Of course, we have to evolve. And we're making this by putting investment on our side, by putting dedicated people to be talking to new type of players that's different than the traditional players. So we're always open for a discussion. I didn't know what you were hinting for, but I'm very much open to engage and discuss and finding a win-win recipe for both of us.
Maybe you don't have the right person also, Naji.
We'll have a private
Okay, we'll
discussion.
take another question.
Good morning. I believe Etisalat has done a significant investment in infrastructure, particularly for new technologies on video services. Do you think you're at the right stage to offer these beyond the Etisalat group and more into regional operators that are not able to do such investments? Can you shed some light on this, please? Because I think you have a significant amount of investment done, particularly on video services, to do so.
Okay, sure. So as you said, yes, infrastructure, we're always believed in putting investment from 3G to LTE to fiber, and this brought back. And even the digital services for us was not really new, because our investment in commerce and e-commerce was there more than 10 years ago, and that's what brought a lot of online billing to the region ahead of time. And we always served outside the UAE, not only the UAE. So we had banks and partners in GCC and even in Pakistan, for that matter. Now, on the new areas, again, if we talk about one of the big opportunities in the digital space for the whole operators in the regions, is machine-to-machine is one of the biggest one. Etisalat is also, apart from the investment on the platform and infrastructure and application in the region, we're also partner of a global M2M alliance that provide us with more than 60 countries coverage globally. So we'll be able to have an agreement with a consumer electronics multinational or an automotive company, and we'll be able to leverage a solution across all the footprints. So this is available today. Today we are already engaging in discussion with multiple regional operators about how to leverage the platform that Etisalat have and the capabilities and the alliances and the partnership and the devices in order to have that, make that, because there is no sense for everybody to build these heavy infrastructure today. It might make sense in 2 years. It might make sense in 3 years. But we took that decision and making the investment because we believe that we need to drive it faster than where it is. In the areas of commerce, also we are in multiple discussion with competitors of our own in different footprints and with also operator outside our footprints of how can we leverage on Etisalat wallet-based solution that we have launched in multiple countries in order to launch it in other countries with different operators in order to make it more of a B2B2C kind of an approach. So that's, again, we are engagement right now with multiple operators on it. On the areas of digital advertisement, I'm more than happy to announce also we are working with multiple competitors of ours in multiple countries in order to shed the light and collaborate in the areas of growing more opportunities out of this area. Because today we're getting very negligible. And even if we are a big market share in one country, a smaller one in another country, but unless we collaborate and put our assets together and expose the complete base of the countries, we will not be able to capture. So today we are ready for that type of discussion with multiple operators, and hopefully soon you will be hearing more of an announcement of that one.
Okay, we'll take the last question. Any more questions? No more questions. Very good. Thank you very much, Khalifa.